Today we are making the quickest, easiest cinnamon rolls ever. This recipe is basically foolproof, and I'm going to be showing you all of my tips and tricks for making it in less than 1 hour, or how to make it the night before so that you can throw these cinnamon rolls in the oven the next morning so it's perfect for Christmas morning or any other special occasion. My name is Tessa, and I'm from handletheheat.com, where I love to share sweet treats with a sprinkling of baking science. And you'll want to watch this video all the way to the end because I'll be sharing my secrets for the ooeyest, gooeyest, most delicious cinnamon roll filling that you've ever had. So let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm using my stand mixer to mix up this dough, but you can also knead this dough by hand. I have a whole video on how to do that. I'll link it down below. So in the bowl of my stand mixer, I already have my all-purpose flour. All of the ingredient amounts, including weight measurements, will also be listed down below, so be sure to check that out so that you can follow this recipe. I have my dough hook attached, and now I'm going to be adding instant yeast. I like to use instant yeast because it truly does make this recipe super quick and easy. It's definitely worth picking up a few packets of it at the store, or you can order a larger size from Amazon, and I'll link that below as well. Next up is some granulated sugar, a little bit of fine salt, and now my liquid ingredients. I have some warm whole milk. I like to use whole milk here because it provides that richness of flavor and texture. You could use down to 2% milk, but whole milk really does give you the best result. If you need to be dairy-free, then I recommend full-fat coconut milk. Next up, just some water. You want to be sure that your liquid ingredients are warm to the touch, but not too hot. If your liquid is too hot for you to feel comfortable touching, it will probably kill the yeast. If it's too cold, then the dough won't rise up to be as nice and fluffy as it could be. So now I'll just increase the speed to medium and allow the dough to knead for about 5 minutes or until it's nice and smooth. Now I'm just going to scrape the dough out onto a floured work surface and let it rest covered for about 10 minutes. And that's really all the rising time this recipe requires. So while my dough's resting, we're going to make the filling. This filling is loaded with sweet cinnamon flavor. So let me show you how I make it. First, I take 3/4 cup of light brown sugar, and then the star ingredient, 3 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. Now that might seem like a lot, and that's because it is. I want these cinnamon rolls to have such a pack of sweet cinnamon flavor that they smell amazing when they bake in your oven. Now, if you want to scale back the cinnamon, you can reduce it to 2 tablespoons instead. That's totally fine, but this is my secret weapon, is tons and tons of cinnamon. And lastly, a little bit of fine salt. And just give that a mix to stir it together. All right, so my dough's been resting for about 10 minutes. Now with this recipe, you don't need a long rising period. The dough and the yeast will do its magic mostly in the oven for this recipe. So now the next step is just to roll out the dough into a big rectangle. Once your dough is all rolled out, if you have any wonky sides or edges, you can just go ahead and cut them off to make it a nice even rectangle. Next up, I'm using my pastry brush to brush melted butter all over my rectangle of dough, just leaving a border at one edge. I've got my cinnamon sugar mixture here, and I'm just going to sprinkle it all over that melted butter. So to roll the dough up, you want to be careful that you keep it nice and tight throughout the entire roll. That's going to give you really beautiful, tall, fluffy, swirly cinnamon rolls. I like to use my fingers to kind of pinch the dough and make sure that I'm keeping it nice and tight. You want to stop when the roll is seam side down and you have a nice log, and use your palms at either end to kind of push it together so you get a nice, thick, even shape. Now there are a couple different ways that you can cut up your log of cinnamon rolls to get really nice, even shapes. I like to use a sharp serrated knife and kind of make sawing motions. You can also use dental floss, whatever method you prefer. This is my favorite because I find it gets really even cuts and you make beautiful cinnamon rolls. To get even pieces of dough, what I like to do is actually start by cutting the entire log in half and then cutting each other piece in half itself until I get 12 even beautiful cinnamon rolls. You can either put the cinnamon rolls in one 9 by 13 inch rectangle baking pan, or I like to use 2 pie pans because I think they make for a really pretty display. You just want to be sure to spray it with nonstick cooking spray before so you don't have to have a mess to clean up later. So go ahead and place your cinnamon rolls in the pan. They might look a little bit small, but they'll puff up and grow while they're baking in the oven. These will go in a 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes or until golden brown. At this point, you could also cover your rolls and refrigerate them overnight. Tomorrow morning, what you'll do is pull them out of the refrigerator while you're preheating the oven and then pop them in for the same amount of baking time. The more time you have for the rolls to rest or rise even overnight in the fridge now, the fluffier and puffier they'll be, but even if you put them directly into the oven after shaping them, they'll still be delicious. My cinnamon rolls just came out of the oven. They look beautiful. The entire house smells like IKEA now. Absolutely amazing. And this is what they look like with basically just a 10-minute rest period for the dough. No additional rising. You can see how perfect they are. I like to bake them until they're just lightly golden brown. I'm just going to make a simple powdered sugar icing. You could also do a cream cheese frosting, and I'll link to that down below. But basically, I just have powdered sugar, and I'm going to add heavy whipping cream to give it a really nice, thick texture. If you don't have heavy cream, you could use milk, just use a little bit less. And then just give that a stir until it comes together into a really thick but still pourable icing. This icing is super thick, but what you can do is you can actually scoop it into a Ziploc bag, just snip one corner and drizzle it all over your cinnamon rolls, or you can just use a knife to spread it over your cinnamon rolls and it kind of melts into the rolls as they're still warm from the oven and is so delicious. So that's how you make the quickest and easiest cinnamon rolls ever. I really hope you give this recipe a try. They're so much more delicious than the refrigerated tube cinnamon rolls you buy at the grocery store, but almost as easy. If you do give this recipe a try, then be sure to leave a comment below and let me know how it goes. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell to get notifications so that you're the first to see when new recipe videos and new baking science videos come out every single week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.